hoor net dat Dalai Lama 10 jaar geleden hier in Nederland is geweest. Ja, dat was de eerste ontmoeting met de Dalai Lama en ook met het boeddhisme, zeg maar, in het algemeen. En ik voelde me helemaal, ik werd helemaal geraakt. Ik moest huilen en ik wist niet zo goed. Ik moest eerlijk gezegd ook een beetje schelden. Omdat er allerlei dingen met me gebeurden die ik niet goed onder woorden kon brengen. En er kwamen hele rare dingen uit mijn mond op dat moment. Ik was dusdanig gepakt dat ik er dagen van ontdaan was, zeg maar. En vervolgens ben ik meer gaan lezen en mediteren en is mijn hele leven eigenlijk veranderd.
Wat ik zelf aan hem zou vragen is, vrij persoonlijk, dat ik heb zelf heel veel verdriet. En ik zou hem vragen of hij dat ook ziet als wat voor emotie dat voor hem is. Of hij verdriet heeft soms, hoe hij daarmee omgaat.
Ik vind het heel moeilijk te beschrijven. Ja, ik vind het heel fijn. Het is zo'n mooi moment. Je ziet hem en voor ons is het net als een God. En dan, je gelooft zo sterk in hem. Ja, ik weet niet hoe te beschrijven, maar ik voel echt enorm goed. Het is heel mooi om te zien.
Ik wil die man heel graag zien en kijken.
En waarom? Vertel, waarom?
Vanwege het vredige gevoel wat hij uitstraalt. En ik vind hem niet iemand die alleen dingen schrijft, maar ze ook letterlijk uitdraagt. En dat vind ik heel bijzonder om dat te zien. Ik vind hem een levend voorbeeld.
Ja, hij bevestigt waarom ik doe wat ik doe, waarom ik uitdraag wat ik uitdraag. Waarom het belangrijk is om te spreken over bepaalde ideeën. Eigen verantwoordelijkheid nemen, compassie voor jezelf en anderen. Bewust worden dat we allemaal verbonden zijn. En hij praat op een niveau dat iedereen kan begrijpen. Je hoeft niet boeddhisme te beoefenen om de Dalai Lama te begrijpen. En dat vind ik wel heel mooi aan hem.
Het gaat vandaag ook over compassie. Wat voor beeld roept dat bij jou op?
Nou, zeker in deze tijd is het natuurlijk een prachtig onderwerp. Dat er zoveel dingen gebeuren waar mensen het niet mee eens zijn. Als je probeert te begrijpen waarom dingen gebeuren bij mensen, dan is het al een stuk helderder. Dan heb je een stuk minder wroeging, haat, wat meer begrip.
Compassie voor mij is gewoon zorgzaam. Gewoon niet echt boos worden. En glimlachen heel veel betekenen. Je hoeft niet met hoe moet ik zeggen, arrogante koppen overal heen en weer. Als je gewoon, zelf als ik niemand ken, dan doe ik even groeten. Dus ja, al deze kleine dingen kan pas betekenen.
Nou, ik heb hier op de optiebeurs gewerkt, voor One Thing. En ik ben nu meditatieleraar. Dus ik probeer me eigenlijk zo min mogelijk meer met opties en aandelen bezig te houden. Ondanks dat ik nog wel een beetje on the side het in de gaten hou in deze tijd. Maar het is ook veranderd omdat ik niet meer mijn ego probeer te volgen. Ik probeer niet meer achter mijn gedachten aan te rennen. Ik kan heel erg goed nu zien zo van oké, dit is een gedachte. En als ik even 2 seconden wacht, is er een andere gedachte. En die kan een hele andere richting uitgaan. Alleen dat al maakt dat je hele leven in één keer niet meer vastzit aan bepaalde constructen, verzinsels van jezelf.
Dus wat je met de boodschap van de Dalai Lama doet en wat je eraan kan hebben, dat is afhankelijk van waar jij bent in jouw leven. Ik sprak met iemand en die zei, ik krijg dit en dat van hem. Ik zeg, ik heb weer hele andere dingen gehoord. Je krijgt wat je nodig hebt, waar je bent. Ik denk dat de wereld klaar is voor de boodschap. Dat we verbonden zijn. Dat als ik jou kwaad wil, dat ik mezelf kwaad doe. Dat we moeten leren delen en dat we het samen moeten doen.
Zabai, old friend, how are you? Thank you. Right.
So good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, old person. Not easy. So, Gazada, power of compassion in turbulent times. So is my talk essentially what is best way to achieve happy life, and particularly when we're passing through difficult period. I think you, this moment, due to global economy crisis, yes, I think a lot of impact on individual people and family. So now, whenever I give talk with large number of people, I always make clear. Firstly, please don't think too much, with too much expectation. Because I have nothing to offer. So you will get disappointment. Then also, some people have the feeling Dalai Lama have some kind of miracle power. So that's really nonsense. But then, even some people have the belief. One occasion in Italy, one lady, after my talk, one lady approached to me. When she come to listen my talk, his body some pain, but after that talk, that pain gone. So that seems I have some special power. I think just entirely because of accident, right? Accidental, I think. So some people, you see, believe I have some kind of healing power. That I often is telling people, if I have really healing power, then naturally I have to use for myself. So last year I went through surgery to remove gallbladder. So that proof I have no healing power. So I'm, as I always describe myself, as a simple Buddhist monk. Actually, basis of our survival and the basis of our stable mind. Now, elder one, more compassionate person. Generally, their mind more stable, and because more inner strength. That comes from their attitude towards other, more positive way. That brings less fear. You can immediately reach out and make friendship. And that gain more self-confidence. That automatically reduces fear and sense of insecurity. Very clear. Basically, we are social animal. Each individual's survival based on the rest of the community. I think from ancient time up to now. Particularly now, because of global economy, environment issue, and some other issue, I think world, 6 billion human beings compelled live together peacefully, harmoniously. This is a question of our survival. Not one side victory, one side defeat, but question of 6 billion human beings survival. So now that's the new reality. So therefore, the compassionate attitude is even more necessary, more relevant to today's world. So I'm talking here, just another human being out of 6 billion human beings. Well, one of the 6 billion human beings. I believe individual's future much depends on the rest of the humanity, rest of the world. So world, humanity, happy, peaceful, I've got maximum benefit. So according to reality, just self-centered attitude, forget or no concern about the rest of the humanity. That is unrealistic attitude. That's foolish attitude. So occasionally I use the word, we are selfish. It should be we are wise selfish rather than foolish selfish. So that means for selfish reason, pay more attention about others' well-being, you get maximum benefit. So sometimes you see people have the people, you see, feeling or impression, the subject such as compassion, forgiveness, these things consider as a religious matter, religious concept.
As religious qualities?
Then those people who have no interest about religion or not serious interest about religion, then they also forget these values. That's a mistake. Human compassion is a universal value. And to the scientist, particularly in the field of psychology and neuroscience, they found useful information from Buddhist sort of explanation. So, many occasions, the scientists, and particularly scientists in the field of medical science, they found more compassionate mind, very good for sustain, or in some cases even increasing our immune system. Whereas constant fear, anger, hatred, literally they say, eating our immune system. So I think that should be the way we grown up, and full of mother's affection. So, naturally, since this proper development or proper growth of our body within the atmosphere of affection, and mother's milk also symbol of affection, symbol of compassion. So our body grown up that way. So today's our body, more one's own mental level, more compassion. This body, very fit, very good. So after surgery, my own case, within 5 days, all wounds already recover. And within 1 week, completely recover. So doctor, a little bit surprised. And the specialist described me at that time as a young patient. Then I told him, I'm not a young patient. My age already 73. Then that doctor told me, he knows your age, but your physical condition, something like age around 60. So that means I have nothing, but I think my mind quite peaceful. So therefore, through my own little experience, I can tell you with confidence, the best way carrying your health, take more seriously about your emotional mental state. That's not expensive. Now, question of second level of compassion. A sense of caring or sense of concern for others' well-being. Now, firstly, oriented towards one's own friend, whom we receive some positive or help for our survival. And then, because oriented the attitude, so towards our enemy, you cannot develop compassion, because that compassion very much oriented attitude. So our enemy's attitude is negative. So instead of compassion feeling, but the feeling of anger comes. Now that limited compassion, biased compassion, take as a seed further training, further sort of strengthening through reasons. Now shift focusing not on attitude but on the person. For example, we have some kind of love or closeness feeling to oneself.
Self-love?
Or self-love, yes. Self-love, there. Self-love, very important. But self-love comes not on the basis of one's own attitude, but rather self itself. Then reason, the self, by nature, do not want suffering and want happiness. Therefore, when passing through difficulties, then there is concern to overcome that difficulties and wishing more joyfulness. That self-love not oriented on attitude, but self itself. Now that shift towards other. Disregard their attitude, but being themselves, just like myself. By nature, they have desire to overcome suffering, to achieve happiness. It deserves. So therefore, on that basis, develop sense of concern. That, now, not oriented on attitude, but oriented being itself. So that compassion now can extend towards our enemy. As far as their attitude is concerned, negative towards us. So we call enemy. We categorize them as an enemy. But still they are sentient being, they are human being. They also deserve achieve happiness, deserve to overcome suffering. So we develop that kind of concern. So that we need a little, reasons and a training. Familiarize that kind of
Perspective.
way of look. Familiarize. Then month by month, year by year, decade by decades, your mind more familiarize that kind of attitude. So then even at the beginning, you feel difficult. You extend your compassion towards your enemy, troublemaker. But due to familiarization, eventually you can extend your compassion towards your enemy. It takes time, but very possible. At the age 16, I lost my freedom. And also take responsibility, temporal as well as spiritual. As Tibetan tradition, since last 400 years, the Dalai Lama institution is head of both temporal as well as spiritual. Then, my age, 24, I lost my own country. Now 50 years passed. Recently, in San Francisco, one organizer who give, free soap or free kitchen.
Soup kitchen.
So they invited. So when I received that invitation, I very much happy to go there. And I went there. Many of them homeless people. So I introduced myself. Anyway, I also homeless person. So we dined together. Oh, these poor people, really, no pretension, no hypocrisy, no artificial, because they are difficult people. So they don't care about their sort of attitude. So very, very, very cordial. So there also I reminds, actually I told there, that experience, that day, that lunch period, it reminds my early sort of experience when I was in Lhasa, Nobulinga or Podala, particularly Nobulinga. I always mixing with those innocent people, sweeper, lay people, uneducated. They do not know how to polite.
How to be polite.
Very innocent, very straightforward. And these people are actually the source of my information. What is going on among the religious people, among the officials, including regent. When I ask the officials, then a little bit cautious. But these innocent people, very straightforward. A lot of criticism, a lot of gossips, they always bring. So I spent with them and having meal together. I had a very, very pleasant sort of experience. So I remind that.
I was reminded of that.
It's mixing with those homeless people. So the point is, there I mentioned I also a kind of homeless person. So last 50 years, homeless people, homeless person. But there's Tibetan saying, the place where you get maximum joyfulness, that's your home. And whomever you receive affection, that's your parent. So that Tibetan concept liberated my mind. So last 50 years in India as a homeless person, but found very warm home. And also, you see, a lot of friends, not only in India, but also in Europe. Now today here,
Netherlands
here. I think over 10,000 people, you see, quite crowded here. You see, you not come here out of your anger, but out of your closeness feeling. So, that is basis of happy days, happy years, happy life. Now, example, when Obama, during the election, you see, he visited Berlin. I think over 200,000 German public greeted him. No sign of some kind of negative feeling. So this also, I think, positive sign. We humanity, I think now you see I think sense of sort of closeness one another as a global citizen. I think that growing. So these are positive signs. So therefore, although the 21st century, beginning of 21st century, not very healthy, but overall, Berlin Wall gone, not by force, but by popular movement. And then I think important thing is the early part of 20th century, around 1917 and 18, the Bolshevik start this with belief the authoritarian, centralized sort of institution can transform the society. But that failed within the century. So individual initiative, individual creativity is essential for development. So freedom is very, very important. So therefore, the former Soviet Union also changed. Although some stress, some traces of Cold War, a little bit there, that's unfortunate. But otherwise, I think things basically, you see, much changed. So People's Republic of China, I think one wonderful change. That is today, Communist Party or People's Republic of China without a communist ideology. It is quite wonderful, isn't it? Communist Party without a communist ideology. And the name of socialist country, but without a socialism. Just a capitalism. So that's a big change, isn't it? So therefore, you see, things are changing. So judging all these factors, and also religious pluralism, also growing, interfaith service. Now everywhere I go, I have opportunity to interfaith. And very sincere sort of spiritual brothers, sisters, sort of spirit there. So these are, I think, very, very positive sort of development. So therefore, I think we here, including myself, I think we should look forward with full of optimism rather than due to certain sort of sad things here and there, and we demoralize, and pessimistic attitude should not do that. Let us look forward and with full confidence and with compassionate mind. That's, I think, very, very important. So, that is about my talk about power of compassion in turbulent world. So some relevant, okay. So now some questions.
What can the Western society do to stop increasing violence?
You mean within the society or on the world? I think it's more or less, I think, same. In the level, worldwide, global level, in order to reduce violence, then firstly, your own society must promote non-violent idea and the spirit of dialogue with awareness and based on compassion. And that also firstly built in family. And in order to create compassionate family, ultimately depend on individual. So sometimes we get the feeling world peace too big. One individual, how can make a contribution? But then, if we think actually how to start, practical way, first individual, try to create inner peace. Then that experience brought in your family, create more peaceful family. Then one family, 10 family, 100 family, 1,000 family, that way create peaceful society, peaceful community. So my friend, I think in Mexico, once he told me, they created some kind of zone of peace within, you see, their community in certain sort of area. A few family, they agree in that area, now zone of peace. No more any quarrel. If you really want to quarrel, then you should go outside from that community. So that kind of practice, also I think possible. In Amsterdam, I think somewhere, 100 family create a zone of ahimsa. So within that, to intentionally avoid harsh word or physical action and remain honestly, truthfully, transparently. If you cannot do these things, then try to find new areas. Try to build healthy society. So through that way, then there is possibility of new world, more compassionate world. So I think European people, I notice, you see, you have, I think, some kind of more ability of curiosity, ability to learn, ability to test than other. So I think Asians and Middle East and also Africa, I think seems, less. So that's not necessarily, I think, from good thing, but even Dutch, Netherlands, this small land, one time you acting like, you as an imperialist or Dutch colony in many parts of Asia. So you've done, I think, a maximum exploitation on Asia, on us. So like many European countries, I think you really tested, experimented awful things also. So therefore, you really become mature. So the idea of democracy, rule of law, equality, and of freedom, because of the individual freedom, freedom of expression, freedom of belief, freedom of press, all these come from the West. So now, you should take new initiative, try to build compassionate society out of awareness. Next question.
Should it be allowed for the big European Union corporations to invest in cheap labor from China?
That's very complicated now, very complicated. Since many years, when America discuss the permanent the most favored nation status.
Most favored nation status.
When that serious discussion is having there, I express China, most populated nation. Therefore, China must bring into the mainstream of world community. It is not advisable isolate China. China must bring into the mainstream of world community. So in the economy field, the China themselves is the one to join world community. Most welcome. But at the same time, world community have moral responsibility. China bring to the world stream of democracy, openness. That's very, very important. So those people, those companies who carry some investment, I think should keep in their mind the long-term sort of benefit, both Chinese people, as well as world. I think more open society, more transparent society is everybody's interest. Closed society, unpredictable, with nuclear weapon, and with the idea power come from barrel of gun. Disregard truth. That's not everybody's interest. Even Chinese people also is want to change. Therefore, just look, economy matter only, not other implication. That's not wise. You see, dealing economy, business, sincerely, without losing principle. That's, I think, important. Next question. Kasa.
Is it important to forgive everyone for their bad deeds? And how can one have compassion for people who do bad things to other people or animals?
Kasa.
The forgiveness,
I think forgiveness does not mean we accept others' wrongdoing. Forgiveness not keep ill feeling towards the people or person who carry unjust activities. So as far as their unjust action is concerned, we have to take appropriate countermeasure in order to stop that unjust doing. So here, more sort of appropriate countermeasure, including tough measure, without anger, but rather sense of concern about their long-term future. Anger, one type of anger, motivated by compassion. That kind of anger is positive. So that means, as far as their nasty action is concerned, we need some kind of little harsh mental attitude and try to stop that. But deep level, out of concern, they also sentient being, they also human being. Out of their ignorance, out of their emotion, they are doing these wrong things. So we have the responsibility to stop that. This case, without negative feeling, that means forgiveness. So it is not contradictory. Practice of forgiveness, this not forget. Remember, they are wrongdoing and take appropriate measure. But without negative feeling because of that wrongdoing. That's, I think, real meaning of forgiveness.
The next question is, climate change is a pressing issue that knows no boundaries. It is affecting all of us, even more so in your country, Tibet.
Yes.
What can we all do to raise awareness and make a difference before it is too late?
So taking care of environment, I think, should become part of our daily life. Through education, through awareness. So I think, now yawning. They like violence. When we saw in television bleeding, dying, like that, we immediately feel, oh, how bad. So the feeling of peace or non-violence can develop easily. Then environmental issue, without noticing, because through some kind of invisibly getting worse and worse and worse. Once the real effect becomes so serious and become affect our eyes or children's breathing or lung, things like that, then may be too late. So therefore, education reminds people the environment issue is not a question of one individual survivor, but entire 6 billion human beings, entire planet itself. So taking care of environment should become part of our daily life. Power and water, all these things, then there's some kind of, what's the self-discipline attitude is, I think, necessary. In my own case, of course, a little bit of silly sort of contribution. Whenever I live in a hotel room or in Dharamsala also, I always put off light. Then bath, I never use tap.
I never use the bathtub.
Only shower. Of course, the shower, one morning, one evening. That's my luxury. But it's the only shower. So that also I consider a little contribution for preserve water. So like that. So you see, it now, of course, I myself also, only after learning from specialists, I developed sense of concern. When we were in Tibet, no idea about the environment issue. So through awareness, through learning, I developed this kind of sense of responsibility. So I think people, public, I think through education. So media people have, I think, a very, very special role and very important sort of, what's today, responsibility. So then last question.
We have received a request from someone which says, can we please say all together, like some kind of praying under the leadership of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the mantra of the Buddha of Compassion, Om Mani Padme Hum, to feel the strength of so many people here?
I think, no, wait. I think that not very relevant. I think just we spend, say, I think 3 minutes silent meditation. then just meditate or think about compassion and make or develop some kind of determination rest of my life. Or one my friend in Nepal, one occasion he make sort of pledge rest of his life he will control his anger. Or such things are really much effective than recitation of mantra. So usually I make it joke. The Om Mani Padme Hum, this mantra. So sometimes when we fasting,
when we say
quickly, then Om Mani, Om Mani, Om Mani, Mani. So that looks like money, 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 like that. So you see, I think that's quite honest. In our mind, thinking only money. So verbally also say money, 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 that. I think that's quite honest. So it's not much, I think, important. Now important, let us meditate or think or cultivate compassion and, if possible, some kind of pledge oneself. Now on, I will reduce my anger, my quarrel with my partner. I will provide maximum compassion towards my children, towards my husband, my wife, and towards our own parent. So let us meditate 3 minutes. We'll start.
Ik zag het moeder aankomen en hij wilde voorbij lopen. Ik zo, Tashi Dele, in het Tibetaans. Hij zo, oh, Tashi Dele. En toen gaf hij me zo een hand. En toen begon ik helemaal te trillen. En ik gewoon een soort van, natuurlijk waarschijnlijk ook van de spanning. En toen stond ik even zo verstijfd. En toen begon ik heel hard te huilen.
Wilt u naar aanleiding van deze uitzending reageren of een gratis programmagids bestellen? Bezoek dan onze website boeddhistischeomroep.nl. DVD's van onze programma's kunt u bestellen op 010 411 3977.